getting Candace Samaria, because Candace Samaria will use another way you can either place it or throw it, which is really nice. And it looks like we're starting here.
Absolutely. This is going to be a good race. This is a battle between two people who are 1 and 2. So this is a pretty big race for both these players. You have to be about 5 and 2 to be able to make it to the next round.
Absolutely. What would you like to see in the first chest?
I'm gonna go nice to these runners, and I'm gonna go with a hammer. I mean, granted, it's a worse hitbox, but it helps you. And I apologize for saying Dungeons Randomized. I was, we got bombs.
So here we go, bombs it is. Now, they're not going to have to farm bombs now, so it's definitely going to be okay to use them away. You just want to make sure you have one for at the end of escape.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't want to use them all up and get the escape and go, oh no, because either you have to do escape again or wait till you get the power gloves.
And absolutely, and we'll see what strats Emlyn can do. I like to see him place a couple bombs down to get a quick 1 kill on these guards, but throwing, sometimes you could just like beast mode it, just hold the bomb and throw your body at him with the bomb in hand. I like seeing that as well.
The brute force strats, you gotta love them. Emlyn having a little bit of issue there with that guard, with the bombs, but bombs is definitely difficult.
Yeah, when they hone on to you, trying to place that bomb in the right spot and also gauging where they're running is definitely a little difficult to get used to.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely unique getting bombed. Everything else, you know, is pretty simple, but getting bombs can really do a number. Speaking of bombs, there's a bomb drop.
I like this strat by Emlyn, just placing it in the middle there and just holding the guard in that middle, which is really nice. And getting a bit 20 for a trouble.
Hey, you know, early big 20s are not bad. You know, you need money for the battle vendor, for Zora potentially, so that's not the worst thing that you can get.
Absolutely, and I like to leave escape if I can with 100 rupees. That's definitely something they could try to strive for, hopefully get a few drops in. But not having to worry, have to get rupees to do Bottle Vendor and Kakariko is definitely optimal.
Yeah, absolutely. Emlyn over here using the pot strats. It takes 2 pots to kill that ball and gank chain guard. I don't know how many bombs, but that is probably the better strat here.
I believe bombs, it would take 4 bombs if I'm not mistaken. I think bombs do 2 hit points of damage, and I think the ball and chain guard has 10. I could be totally wrong with my math, but I think it's 4 bombs.
Fair. I'm gonna have to take your word for it because I'm not sure. One thing I want to point out while we're right here is you might notice, hey, both these sprites, they're not Link. What's going on here? Here in Randomizer, they allow for different sprites. They make, I think there's about 100 or so right now. You got Zora on the right, Zelda on the left, which I think is a futuristic Zelda. Not futuristic, but from a different game. And I apologize for not knowing that.
I want to say that's the Twilight Princess Zelda, but I'm not 100% positive. I tend to use Classic Link myself, so...
Yeah.
And, ooh, Katatatta's taking an early death and escape.
Early escape and deaths. It wasn't too far in, so it won't be that much of a time loss, but definitely, again, bomb strats are pretty difficult. The good news for Katatatta is your bombs refill in this scenario, so you don't just keep losing bombs. So if you go 0 bombs and die, you get your 10 back just in escape.
Yeah, we might see then that Katatatta take a few extra gambles later on, knowing that he had a death and escape. I know that's what I did when I died, and Didn't work out, but definitely would like to see some gamble plays on his part.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm with you. I could see that being a good possibility. Gotta be careful here, though.
Emlyn getting another bit 20, so it's 40 rupees so far. Nice bomb plan to get the key from that rat. That could be the most critical one of these bomb strats here. That rat can definitely be a pain.
Yeah, absolutely. Those rats like to move away from you at the wrong times. Nothing too major there in the back of escape, so that's a thing.
Yeah, nothing too major, just more bombs for trouble. She'll leave here with 6, which I think is going to be enough to clear all south side, so it's good to have. Minus they need bombs to kill the mini Moldorms and mini Moldorm Cube.
Yeah, absolutely, because right now that's all they have to be able to beat the mini Moldorms is those bombs. But we do get silvers right off the rip. They don't do a lot for us till we get the bow, but that is going to be nice to have later on.
Knowing that you have silvers in your back pocket is like one of the best feelings to have, because you know you don't have to worry about that. You know how to do Civilist Ganon, which can be a pain if you're really not familiar with the pattern. So having that in your back pocket is definitely something of comfort.
Yeah, absolutely. Emlyn here going up, doing the tree pull with only get some arrows. Going to do the bush grab next, and it looks like he just has some hearts there. I'm going to check Lumberjack Cave here. Lumberjack Cave, if you don't know, you can only access this after Ag 1 is completed. The tree that they're sawing will be opened up, sort of, but you also need the boots to be able to bonk into it to open it completely.
Yeah, so there's two fields of thought with that check. Some runners like to check it early and see what's there. Having that information is good. I've lately come to the mind where I want to check it and when I do have the boots, knowing that that's when it'll be available to me.
Yeah, absolutely. Both strategies you understand, having the knowledge and then also doing, if you don't have the boots, then why does it matter? So definitely both strategies are completely understandable.
And Moon Pearl in the mushroom location in the forest. All right, so we got 1/3 of Dark World access as it is right now.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good find early on. The Moon Pearl can sometimes be in some weird locations. But we got the Merle. We need the Power Gloves for sure, and either the Hammer or the Titan's Mitts. For those in chat that was asking, I think Lumberjack was a piece of heart or a green rupee or something.
Yeah, it was nothing of consequence, so they won't have to worry about thinking Ag is a thing as of right now. And we get a map check, and all I got was that Eastern was a pendant, and Eastern was a crystal, and the red pendant was up on Hera. I didn't see what desert was.
I did not either. That was an extremely quick check. But obviously they got it, so that's what matters for them. We're saying that Desert Palace was a red crystal, and we got Fire Rod.
Very well, and did find 2 bit 20s in there, now over 100 rupees, and we can go to that bottle vendor.
Yep, time to get scammed from the bottle vendor.
Well, hopefully they can find a little bit more magic, because that Fire Rod will definitely come in handy in that mini Moldorm cave, not having to worry about doing total bomb strats in it.
Yeah, absolutely. getting the Fire Rod early is nice in some ways, but you have to keep in mind the magic usage. You only get 8 shots when it's full, so it's something to conserve at the same time.
And the red boomerang off the bat in the well with the mushroom, a bit 20, and a heart container. Getting a full heart container is nice. They only still have green mail with 4 hearts, especially if they're going to end up into the dark world. That could add a lot of damage to them. So finding early heart containers is definitely something that you like to see.
Absolutely. And now we got both boomerangs, so we don't have to worry about them. No worries, we got it.
And Cane of Samaria. What type of seed is this? We're getting a lot of progression items up front. We got the Fire Rod and Cane of Samaria. We got the red mushroom. We're getting the red boomerang. All we need is the red boots and the lantern, and we have all the red items in the seed. But she gets hammer, so that's okay too.
Yeah, hammer's fine. Actually, hammer's a really, well, obviously always a good find, but even though she had Fire Rod, I think even though they have Fire Rod and Cane of Samaria here, that does use magic, and obviously we've already said they're running low on magic both sides.
And with the mushroom in hand and the Cane of Samaria, Emlyn's going for the early sequence break and doing fake powder on the bat. Hope maybe this will work out in her favor. Let's see how we see here.
Now, this is an interesting strategy that you don't see so early because you normally don't have these items, but this is definitely worth it to get it out of the way.
We'll see what the bat curses her with. ₹300. Now, finding that early is definitely nice to see. You're going to get your early Zora money in play here. So, even though that's a sequence break, it's a nice one to keep in your pocket. No pun intended.
Nice. The fake flipper is definitely on the table now. They still need about 108 more rupees, but I mean, they still got the entire south side you have to do of Hyrule, so library holding nothing of consequence.
Alright, we're getting a check of the race game by Emlyn. There's 2 modes of thought here, which is only a 10 arrow. During races, a lot of runners I like to see just do it themselves and see what's there, so you don't have to worry about trekking back and to go get the item if something is something they need there.
Yeah, absolutely. You see a lot in the standard and open modes. People will just go check it first. If you're playing like Key Sandy, where there's a lot where the keys are all over the world, pretty much most people will just do it and get it over with.
It's going to be interesting to see if Kat does the same fake powder strat on his stream here, while Emlyn's just checking the dam right now.
It doesn't appear Kat's going to do it. She looks like she's going to head down to the library herself. Oh, we get Ice Rod. If Turtle Rock's the crystal, that is a great find.
It definitely is, and minus the hook shot, they have the items they need to clear the dungeon. But usually, in version 29, if you get the early rods, that tends to lead that Turtle Rock is a pendant.
You're absolutely right. And you need a hook shot for Turtle Rock?
Technically not. I'm thinking of the fast strat on the left-hand side.
Gotcha. No, I just wanted to make sure I wasn't missing anything. I just was like, wait a minute. And then, but we do need a medallion yet, so that's something we keep in mind as well. Half magic and a bunch of rupees so far. A whole bunch of rupees. That's a solid. That was nothing too major progression-wise. Well, nothing progression-wise, but half magic is nice to get this early in the game.
And Emlyn looks like she's going to make the Ice Rod Cave play, and probably will do that fake flippers, because having the Moon Pearl in hand, that means you can check Waterfall of Wishing that has 2 more items in it, which would be another sequence break on her part.
Absolutely. The sequence breaks, you know, they're nice, but you have to keep that in mind as you're looking for other items in the future. Ooh, but taking a hit, taking a death, you gotta be careful when you go into Ice Rock Cave. Those crabs can do 2 hearts of damage. It's a lot of, and with early hearts like this, that's tough.
And with that in mind, looks like she's going to the Eastern play over here, going to Sahasrara, and probably dip into Eastern to see if they have an item.
Yeah, that's ain't a bad play at this point. You're running out of locations. You still have Ice Rod, and you can fake Flipper, which is an logic, as we were saying, but there's not a whole lot left to do at this point.
And these runners still don't have a sword, so not having a sword going into some of these parts, especially going up that Ice Rod location with those crabs, definitely could be troublesome.
And Cat taking a death in the Mini Mordorm Cave. That was rough. And if I'm not mistaken, I think I saw the power gloves on Emlyn's side, which means we have Dark World access.
Yep, so as of right now, Aga's officially dead. So Dark World looks like she's making the southern play, which we'll get to see Hype Cave right away.
Yeah, this makes a lot of sense. You don't have a lot of hearts, so going over to Outcast Village and Thieves Town area, you know, that could be a lot of deaths involved there because of how hard everyone hits on that side. So doing this first, you might get a few hearts or maybe even a cape or something to help with those dungeons.
It looks like she changed her mind.
Interesting. Oh,
She's
going to buy more bombs. I always forget about that bomb shop down there. Cat on the right side here having a lot of trouble in that Mini Mordorm Cave. She has no magic, she has no magic, and that's not the easiest thing to do without a sword and no magic. Basically, it's going to be Hammer, which has a small hitbox, or the bomb strats, and she only got 4 of those.
Yeah, using Hammer in that cave is definitely wonky because heading north and trying to hit something going north has the limited hit range. Going left and right is definitely better, and going south gives it a little bit more range, but heading north is definitely rough.
Had a couple nice bombs there, and then accidentally threw one in the pit. I've done that many times. It happens. You're not paying attention to you're paying attention where the Mini Moldorms are, and you accidentally throw one in the pit. And then gets the half magic to fill up her magic meter. That's a brutal thing, Steve.
And Titan's Mitts and the bow. So Hype Cave has earned its name. Titan's Mitts and the bow.
That was amazing, and that also means that if you want to do dark rooms, Pod and Eastern are both completable at this point. If you want to do dark rooms, it's not in logic, but that can be done.
But she's gonna route this in, smart play. Gonna head to the left. Gonna check Haunted Grove and go do Digging Game. Head away up to Dark Kakariko.
Yeah, this is a good routing decision. I definitely like it. Get these out of the way early, and it does appear that Cat is going to do the fake flipper play. So this is going to be interesting to see what's going on here. We have some route divergence. We like that. There's only a green route on Lake Hylia Island. I doubt we'll see that again.
Well, I always say with early Dark World access, that definitely leads to more divergence from the runners because it opens so much up to them. So getting it so early definitely adds to hype at watching, which is really nice.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, I can understand Cat not deciding to go in Dark World right now with only 4 hearts. Again, Dark World is pretty brutal on how much damage it does with green mail.
Emlyn completing her heart container, getting that another heart. Definitely nice. Still only 6 hearts with green mail and dark world with no sword. It's scary to be around here.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting. You can complete the blind fight with a hammer and the Cane of Samaria, but those are difficult strats, but it is possible.
You usually don't see Jeremiah taking a tour of the Dark Village, so this is definitely fun to watch. Wick getting the boots in the bombable shed.
Give me boots! These boots weren't made for walking; they were made for running. The problem you have with boots right now, though, is you don't have a sword, so you have to be careful when you're dashing, because normally you just go right through enemies. Well, you're just going to run into enemies at this point.
Absolutely. I was going to mention that before you did, but it is one of those things where you're like, yes, I can go fast, and you always, in the back of your mind, forget that you don't have a sword. So you have nothing protecting you from the front, which is something you really have to keep in mind.
On Kat's side, I missed it the first time, but she got lamped out of that sequence break. That's kind of interesting. If she only knew that if she went to Hype Cake, she could full clear Easton right now.
So I didn't quite see where Lamp came from, but that means if it came from Mortiful of Wishing or the Hobo, we need to find the Flippers first. So this could be a seed where it could be late Lamp access.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was found in one of those, I think in the Waterfall Wishing. So it is Flippers locked. Emlyn here taking his time getting these rest of these upper areas done.
And Kat's heading towards Eastern Palace and can find a dip in there and see what's available.
Yep, not a bad play. You see this quite a bit from runners. You see the Eastern play early, which is always it's almost kind of overworldy the way it routes in usually. You do have the Dark World access, but maybe they're not completely comfortable with Dark World right now with only 5 hearts.
It's fairly a quick check. I don't wrong them for doing this. It's I generally like to dip in Eastern Palace, no matter if it's a pendant or a crystal, just to get those chests. It's quick and easy.
Yeah, absolutely. It's an easy, quick check because no biggie here. Emlyn getting a B in the bottle. That will mean Sick Kids opened up. We'll probably see that right now.
To make this even better, is if Sick Kid had the flute. But he doesn't, just a little bit of love for him.
Yep, just a little bit of love. We all could use a little bit of love every now and then. Yeah, ETAP makes a good point. And Swordless, so. Swordless Dark World, 5 hearts, not fun.
So I apparently missed the map check of Dark World. Pod being the green pendant, so that being completable minus the lamp on Emlyn's side could add to Sahashala having an item.
Yeah, absolutely. Pod green pendant's not the worst thing in the world because of that reason. It's just right there, unless you don't have mirror. But even still, that's very interesting. And we all know if you play V29, it feels like the pendants mean more. And I don't know if that's the case, but that's definitely how it feels. I missed it, but apparently flippers were in Eastern.
All right, so that puts the lamp back in logic. So whatever Cat finds behind these dark rooms now is in logic because Eastern. But that means for logic, they wanted you to double dip Eastern Palace to get the flippers to go to Waterfall Cave to get the lamp.
That is a weird logic, but it's a logic nonetheless that does work. You saw Emlyn there go into a rare shop you don't see very often, but to grab a potion, and I don't blame him.
It's a very healthy seed money-wise here. Standing at 736 rupees after buying potions. And, you know, it's definitely nice to have that money in your back pocket.
Yeah, absolutely. And he ain't complaining. Especially with Zora checks still to come. Looked like Cat took a death in Eastern there. You know, with the gloves that were in Sarasrala's hut, it almost required triple dip into Eastern Palace's seed if you routed it wrong. I might be wrong on that. I might be getting mixed up.
No, sometimes these logics do make triple dips a dungeon, which definitely can be bothersome. But Cat making the way up Death Mountain, it's only gonna have a couple items you could do here, but definitely an interesting play on her part.
Yeah, absolutely. But the good news is, I like this play because you get the old man here and you get the save spot, so it'll be easy to come right back here later on. And who knows, you might find the hook shot here, then everything changes from if it's inside Spectacle Rock.
Well, Emlyn's making her way down in the basement of Thieves Town here. We're gonna find what's loading by the so-called maiden in distress.
I'm very, very curious to see this blind fight here. Not having a sword is pretty brutal, and do have Canis Maria, did get a potion, do have the hammer, which all does the same type of damage. Which reminds me, Blind's the only boss in the game where whether you have Fighter Sword or the Butter Sword, it all does the same damage. You have to get 9 hits on his head, on her head, or 3 on each head to beat it.
Yeah, Blind's the only boss that has 9 HP, but all weapons will only do 1 HP damage.
Exactly. Precisely. I was trying to explain that, and then I just kind of got tumbled over my words, because that's what I do.
No problem. Well, Cat realizes she doesn't have bombs, needs to go get bombs, so she can get all the items in Hype Cave has to offer.
Emlyn going with the Canis Maria strats. I like it. Didn't get that first hit when it was right on Blind's head. That was a bit unfortunate, but doing pretty good so far. What
nice
a beautiful fight.
Yeah, you gotta watch out. Those red balls they shoot do 1 heart of damage with green mail, but the heads do 2. So you gotta try to avoid those heads at all costs. So it could be a scary fight if you don't have the right motion to it.
Yeah, absolutely. And although Thieves Town itself, I don't think had much in the way of progression, that is their first crystal to match so far at about a half hour in.
All right, she's bringing home Gary's lunchbox. We'll figure out what he's packed for his lunch, while Kat's finally getting all the items in Hype Cave that she needs.
Yep. And getting the bow there, it's like, oh man, I was already at Eastern. Well, I'll be curious to see, since she's right here, will she go straight to Pod? No.
Nope, she's doing the same route, which is definitely nice. You know, gotta go do the Southern Grove and get Dark Kakariko out of the way.
Yeah, absolutely. It's good routing. It's always here. You know, when you have that Pod axe, you're kind of like, do I want to do Pod? Even if it's a pendant. Although she hadn't checked her map yet. Emlyn routed in nicely Agina's cave with the lunchbox. But just getting 20 rupees for his trouble.
All right, looks like Emlyn's making the Eastern play herself now. It's gonna get her flippers, his flippers. So we'll see if he can do the Dark Runes, which I believe he's able to do, and finish off Eastern.
And that will be crystal number 2 if he decides to do that. And then get the flips, then get the lamp, you know, because of Seed likes weird logic. Yeah, right now, still no sword, 32 minutes in. Not the worst thing I've ever seen, but we are getting to a point where we start wondering, when will we get our first sword?
Oddly enough, my first race was against Emlyn in this tournament, and he had Tempered Sword about 40 minutes into the seed when I was about an hour and a half before I got my first sword.
That is rough. Ouch. So right now, both these runners kind of retracing some steps here. Only difference is Emlyn will could complete this even without the lamp. I'll be curious to see what Kat does here. Again, going to the Thieves Town swordless is not the funnest thing in the world to do. So see how this goes. Emlyn with the flips. I would imagine once Emlyn's done with Eastern here, they'll probably do the Zora play right after this.
It definitely makes sense to get that routing in. Since he already did fake powder, he can turn in the mushroom if he wants to head north. Definitely a viable option.
You know what else is open, even though it's not technically full clearable without the hook shot? Ice Palace.
Yeah, depending on where the keys lie in the chest in that dungeon, it's definitely clearable. But with only 7 hearts, no sword, and green mail, I do not want to go against Cold Stare. I would run away as fast as possible.
Oh, absolutely. I would too, but it is something to keep in mind as we start running out of locations. It's also a pendant.
Now, if Emlyn chooses, which it looks like he's doing, to go towards Armless Knights, if you remember, straight ahead from the door as you enter it is a lantern that you can light with the fire rod, or directly right or left. So, could easily light that room to help him out.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a strat you don't see very often, but it's not technically logic. Like, logic will never make you do something like that, but it is viable to have that knowledge. Whew. For a minute there, Emlyn had some trouble with that torch. Gotta be really careful here.
Nice play by him right there. Got it.
So once Eastern's done here, let's kind of think about this. What's next on our list? We have a lot of things open to us, but not a lot of dungeons clearable at this point.
It's a valid point. I'm not 100% sure where I would go. Could take the dip into Skull Woods. It's clearable with the fire rod against Montula, so that's something that's to keep in the back pocket.
You still need a sword though to cut through that one area, so you gotta keep that in mind.
Yes, but we're also running out of locations that a sword could be, so.
Yeah, absolutely. We're gonna be getting a sword soon, I got a feeling, but oh, Cat taking a death there. In kind of a bad spot, but again, this Thieves Town with no sword, green mail, not fun. Emlyn, though, with a nice Armo Silvers fight, getting out of there quick with with his second crystal of the match. This is where it starts becoming. Thinking about it, I probably would dip in the pod, being green, or well, he also got the Zora play as well. That's probably actually where I would go.
He's looked like he's heading in that direction, so good for him. It's going to get his lamp. Probably be a little upset that it was right there for him.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll most likely see what is. Oh, they haven't done Ice Rod Cave either, so they'll do that and then go to Zora most likely, and we'll get to see what's on Zora because Kat did not have the money for Zora the last time when she went that way. Ooh, Cat with a second death, unfortunately, over in Thieves Town. That's rough. Looks like they're gonna nope out of there. That's probably a good call at this point. It's so if you're not used to it. Again, Thieves Town, not an easy dungeon in Green Mail in general, but especially without sword.
Absolutely. That Thieves Town, those, you know what, I'm not even sure what they call it, just call them horse enemies, can be really deadly without having a sword in hand.
Yeah, absolutely. They take about two hearts of damage. I call them the Jurassic Park rejects.
I like that.
They look like dinosaurs, so it's like, yeah, Jurassic Park rejects. Look like
Cat
that
might
was...
be making the pod play. It looks like he's making the she's making the pod play, but still confused on where she wanted to go.
Yeah, it's a tough thing because with pod being a pendant, you know, you don't always want to do a pendant dungeon, but there's not a lot of options left, and I think she left a couple of chests behind in Thieves Town, but as we know, there's not really anything there other than the crystal. So this could be a very, very good play that helps her go forward.
Absolutely, and pod having 5 items is definitely a lucrative location.
Alright, so Emlyn going to be doing the Zora check here. Let's see what the old scam artist has today.
And I'm sure they're happy to find the blue mail there. Definitely something with these deaths, that, especially on Cat's side, eventually will make a way over there. But finding that early mail is going to help him out in this routing.
Yeah, absolutely. And Cat actually found a sword in the first chest on left side in pod. That's pretty significant.
Yep, that means that the pod would have been bow-locked if they didn't go to Hive Cave, so at least they got that early and got that out of the way.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm maybe curious to see what else that pod has here. I kind of feel like it's going to have quite a bit.
Emlyn's making the similar routing her way, his way over this way.
Yep, probably gonna check Pyramid and maybe Catfish even beforehand. What is interesting right now, though, is that sword actually does fully unlock Skull Woods, so that will probably be what we see very soon.
And we get the shovel on Pyramid. Get one of our fetch quests out of the way.
Who doesn't love a good fetch quest? Yep, Emlyn gonna go ahead and get the Catfish done here. This is such an out of the way check that routing in with a potential pod player, just getting it in general, is definitely a good play just to get it done.
Absolutely. Finding the actual time to make your way up here in a run is a little tiresome. I know a lot of runners like to forget about it at times and hope there's not a progression item up here.
Yeah, absolutely. If there is, oh buddy. On Cat's side, I actually saw something I'd never seen before. She was trying to jump off that ledge down to the other area and kept hitting that beetle and jumping back. I've actually never seen that animation before.
Yeah, that could happen. I usually see it when jumping down on this ledge up here. It just keeps popping you back and popping you back. You have to like redo the room so you can make your way over.
Oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense. This is something I hadn't seen yet. I'm like, that is really kind of cool looking. I'm not gonna lie. You know, I never understood why this game put turtles in pod, but not in T-Rock.
Never said they were logical.
This is true.
This is the early 90s now, so...
That's fair. That's fair. Cat here making their way through the rest of the pod. This is a clearable dungeon. I'll be very curious to see if she goes ahead and decides to try and clear it or not. Oh! Taking a death there. Got hit by the dragon dudes. I don't know what they're called, but I call them dragon dudes.
Those are the Dondagos. And I was about to say, going into that room with half a heart is definitely not optimal. Because those fire will do 1 heart of damage no matter what mail you have. And hitting them can be a little wanky as well. Luckily, it's not that long to get back to where she was. So just head back that way.
No, absolutely not. It is entirely possible too that she was setting up a death warp at that going in because you don't have the mirror. It'd be easier to get back, but maybe it just unfortunately took a hit, that unintended hit. Emlyn coming in with the blue mail, so it'll be a little bit easier for him. And getting their first sword.
And Cat finds the flute.
That is significant right there. That'll make life a little bit easier for these runners once they get the swag duck ready.
Absolutely, it's gonna make routing a little bit easier now. On them, and that means we can get a Meyer area check now. And
yeah, absolutely, we do have Quake now, so that's nice to have. Meyer could be openable. I don't know. I don't think we obviously haven't seen it yet. And yeah, so we're starting to get some options now. Pod was a good play. Cat deciding not to finish out though. And I'll be honest, I didn't keep track of items, so I don't know if there's an item left or not. But even still, it is a green pendant, so I could see Emlyn deciding to do it. But it is a pendant. Finishing pendants, if it isn't required, is a big time loss.
well, absolutely, but then that goes to show what we mentioned earlier, is that being a pendant dungeon, it had the flute, a sword upgrade, and Quake Medallion. We don't know if Quake Medallion is actually needed, but it's a lot of items in a pendant dungeon.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's crazy how these pendants have seem like they mean a lot more right now. And if you don't know, one thing I can say about the logic from V28 to 29 is they made the overworld a little bit more. Try and balance out overworld finding items in overworld versus dungeons. So I think this may be a bit of a side effect of that. Not that there's anything wrong with that. It's Randomizer. There should be items and pendants. I would say right now it's probably a little too early to say who's ahead. Emlyn does have the 2 dungeons done, so the 2-0 Crystal Edge is kind of nice, but. Cat here deciding they wanted to take a look at Agina's Cave and the Desert Ledge first. Emlyn here decided to do a death warp to get back to the front of the dungeon. That's a good death warp without the mirror.
And Cat is making the Mire check here. We'll see what medallion is to load the dungeon.
This is a wise play, at the very least, to get the knowledge, even if you don't have the dungeon itself, which we did not get to see. Nothing of note in the Mire shed area.
It is Quake, so Cat's gonna make her way in there. Technically, this dungeon is clearable.
Yeah, absolutely, and you know, why not? Why not go in there and check it out? There's 2 items in here. It's not the best dungeon that you want to go into sometimes early, but sometimes the seed just takes you there and you want to do it.
Cat might think that she's a little bit behind with those early deaths, so taking a little risk here. I like this on her end, so we'll see if it pans out.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. I like this play as well. Cat had a nice little Canis Maria strats there, but that one somehow didn't hit. I'm not sure how that happened, but it didn't. Well, we're reaching the point in the match, though. We're almost an hour in. We got a lot of items. We have some stuff open now. What are we missing for go mode? So we want mirror, hook shot, and possibly a medallion.
That sounds about right, and depending on, obviously, fetch type items, if the book we might need or the cape we might need, depending on bumper ledge, stuff like that.
By the way, I don't know if you saw, but the hook shot was in Mire. This play was a great play.
Excellent for Cat. So now, if I were her, I'd probably route in Eastern Death Mountain with Dark Side Death Mountain. Get a lot of items on that end, and we'll be able to get and see what Turtle Rock is.
Yeah, absolutely. This is, you know, this seed just got interesting. And still, you gotta keep in mind there's two crystals and 1 leaf for Emlyn, but that hook shot could be, that's huge. Oh, Cat taking an unfortunate death there in Misery Mire, forgetting that blue jelly had a key, I think. Ooh. And Cat did find both items in Mire, so right now we're just looking for the big key. What'd be nice is we have... Ooh, taking a shot from the Beamos there. Having the... Oh! Taking a hit from the Wizrobes. If you only have green mail, those Wizrobe energy things that they shoot out does 4 hearts of damage.
Yeah, it's rough with green mail in the Dark World. You gotta hope that Cat will find another mail upgrade somewhere. Or eventually make her way up to Zora.
Yeah, that's the play, because those Wizrobes are going to do some damage if they hit you. And it just hit her again a little bit ago. Well, all she needs to do is find that big key, and honestly, Viddy is I don't want to say a pushover, because you don't want to get hit by it, but with Silvers, it's only 1 hit per small eye and 2 for the big eye.
Smart play, realizing that she didn't have enough magic probably to light these torches, so went in, got that full refill in the next room.
Yeah, and using the lantern there to use less magic, a little bit risky with the amount of hearts she has, and oh no, she forgot to hit the switch. Taking another death, that's brutal. You know, it happens though. This is not Misery Mire, green male, does a lot of damage.
Green Pendant had the powder, so that being said, Pod it was required. Not really. Well, 300 rupees, but in the early sequence break with her, you only get 300 rupees, but it's interesting that that powder would be there.
Very interesting. Pod just it was just a dungeon that kept on giving. But even still having the powder at this point, you know, you can get fairies out of the anti-fairies and the bunny beams. That's a nice safety to have at this point. Emlyn getting the big key, so now she can just go straight to the boss here. Just gotta be careful. Don't take another death. Emlyn giving us our first view of Skull Woods. And I'll be honest, I have not seen the items. Yeah, Skull Woods is clearable because they have a sword and fire rod. Won't be the easiest fight in the world, but... Poor Emlyn there, trying to use the bonk strats to give themselves a bit more of a cushion with the bomb jump, and accidentally booting their way through the door.
If I'm not mistaken, I don't see Emlyn finding an item, so got one more chest to check here. Otherwise, it would be behind the fire rod.
And Kat is just having a brutal time here in Misery Mire. It's commend her for to keep on trying. You know, just I think she had miscounted her items. I think she thinks she still got one more. You have to say though, real quick, these runners, it's not the easiest to get restreamed, and definitely some pressure and nerves, and it can definitely affect your play sometimes. So both these runners, you gotta give it up for them for even allowing to be restreamed and taking on that added pressure.
Absolutely, it takes a lot to put yourself out there. So give it up to them for doing so and entertaining us in the process.
Now we are on the Mothula fight. Mothula could be a bit of a pain in the butt, because if he's on the spikes up there, or on spikes at all, doesn't take damage. But using that fire rod to good use.
Absolutely. Oddly enough, though, Mothula is the only boss in the game that a bee can actually hit. So if you had a bee in a bottle, you could use it against Mothula.
And I believe Emlyn did. No, she had a blue potion. Never mind, she got rid of it. Cat took another death, and Messermeyer deciding to come back later. This is probably a good play at this point. You already had the big key, so it's going to be a really, really quick check. As long as they remember, they have two of the items, which I don't think they realize. Right now, though, for Cat, even taking those deaths and falling kind of behind in terms of not falling behind, but just having a lot of time wasted doing the Misery Mire and dying, she does have the hook shot, and that could come into play later. That's still pretty huge to have right now. I would imagine that Emlyn here is going, once they find out that Quake is required for Misery Mire, they will head into Misery Mire themselves.
Now, here's the play that Emlyn needed. He was not having too much overworld left to check, so eventually come to this location and it's going to be granted with the hook shot.
Yep, absolutely. And then once we get through this dungeon, we still need to find the mirror. And I'll tell you what, both pendants will be open, and I'm guessing the mirror's in one of those pendants.
Very true. Both pendants will be open. With hookshot in logic right now, that could mean that it could be on pedestal.
Ooh, that would be brutal, yeah.
Emlyn have a little bit of rough time in that first room. Finally gets through and make her way towards the back.
Yep, and this will be easy peasy. Cat will be getting her first crystal here in just a little bit.
Got a little pull frustration out of having hookshot in that chest out of Emlyn there.
Yeah, absolutely. And at this point, you have to remember that the both runners don't, obviously they don't know where they're at in terms of where the other runner is. So both runners, I think at this point, are probably feeling a tad bit behind. Obviously, Cat's probably feeling really behind at this point, but I wouldn't be surprised with that hookshot location that Emlyn might feel a little bit behind too.
One of the advantages that Emlyn does have in here, he can use that powder on the anti-fairies to get some fairies out and fill their hearts.
Yeah, absolutely. Emlyn, he is in a lot better shape to do this dungeon with having the magic powder and the blue mail.
Cat's about to go get her revenge on Blind.
Yep, absolutely. Having the sword here and a bunch more hearts, this will be a little bit easier. Emlyn getting through the world's longest cutscene. Now, I was gonna say on Cat's side, I didn't think they made it to the actual end of the actual blind fight, so they have to go and do all that over again. Alright, so here we go. Emlyn making his way to the boss here. I wasn't entirely sure if they miscounted as well, possibly. They were checking some chests they didn't need to check, but you know, sometimes happen. You get something like an arrow upgrade, you kind of forget that's even classified as an item. But it's interesting to see that both runners may have not paid attention to the two items there. So the room that Emlyn's on right now, this is, if you're doing this in the dark, it is extremely hard. Might be one of the harder dark rooms to do in the game. Outside of maybe Aga 1's maze and stuff.
Oh yeah, I don't even want to practice Aga 1 dark rooms. They're just that dreadful.
Absolutely, I'm the same way. Alright, Cat with a good first cycle there on blind. Nice cancel Maria. Gotta be careful here though, only 3 hearts. Solid game there. On to phase 3. Fortunate death to blind there for Cat. Was on the 3rd phase, but you have to be careful. They're just blind. If you practice it a lot, it can actually be a bit of a scripted fight. But once you get out of that script, it can be really, really difficult.
Yeah, and unfortunately, taking the death, you're not gonna be able to get back into that script because he starts further up in the screen. So you gotta do a little bit different strats here at leading into it.
And one thing to keep in mind also is Cat actually doesn't even have a bottle, so she can't even get a safety of any kind at this point. Yeah, and Emlyn getting their 4th crystal of the match, destroying Vitreous with those silver arrows. Vitreous is an interesting boss in a way, because if you don't have the silver arrows, that could be a bit of a pain in the butt boss.
Cat's effectively dodging here, though.
Yep, just needs one more hit. Don't get... That was a pretty good fight, all things considered.
Solid snipe at the end.
That is Kat's second crystal here, and I wouldn't be completely surprised to see her go to Skull Woods at this point. That'd be a nice little route there, but you could do something else as well. So on Emlyn's side, we're actually getting our first real look at East Side Death Mountain. I don't think we got anything too worthwhile there so far. And there is the Master Sword, which, to be completely honest with you, I forgot they didn't even have Master Sword. But actually, Master Sword is required to beat the game. At least Master Sword. Emlyn just missing that bomb jump.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they would like to find Tempered Sword because, you know, between Tempered and Butter, it's not a big, huge difference, but the difference between Master Sword and Tempered in the Ganon fight is the world.
Yeah, absolutely. I always, yeah, give me Tempered. I mean, the Master Sword is possible, but you have to, on Ganon, if you have Master Sword, you can't just hit him. You have to actually spin slash him every time, and that can get pretty rough.
And it's 12 spins per phase, so you're talking about 24 spins just to get him to phase 3.
Yeah, that's... Then if you have Silverless Ganon, which we don't hear, thankfully, forget about it. Ooh, but we get the mirror in the Spiral Cave. That's huge. And depending on what Turtle Rock is, if Turtle Rock is Quake, that means we are officially in go mode. So we might be there. We're not there yet, though. We just don't know. There's a 33% chance of that happening. So I imagine that is going to be the next check for Emlyn here, to check the... Getting rock blocked here, but checking the Turtle Rock medallion. Now those dead rocks can be just annoying up here sometimes.
Absolutely. They just get in your face and they just stay there.
Alright, the moment of truth is upon us.
And it's Bombos!
Oh, we need to find Bombos, so... The Pedri lives? I think. Yes. But most likely, that's probably not going to be it. So that also leaves in play the two pendant dungeons, potentially.
Well, we have 7 chests up here in Super Bunny Cave and Hookshot Cave. And depending if he wants to make his way over towards Spike Cave, it makes 8, but we'll see.
Absolutely. I don't think, and chat, you could correct me if I'm wrong here. In terms of logic, because they don't have the cape in Canterbury, I don't think it's actually in logic yet.
No, logic will never make you use either potions or having enough hearts to do Spike Cave. So if they do it, then that is out of logic. So then Bombos would, if it's there, would be Sequence Break. But there's the Temper Sword for Emlyn, so we won't have to do Master Sword Ganon.
No, that's going to be a relief. Emlyn's probably happy about that. Blue Male Temper Sword, you're pretty good to go.
And I don't mind this play on Emlyn's side. He's going to get that heart container. Getting another full heart container is definitely a nice to have. 13 is a nice number.
Yeah, absolutely. That's about where I like Where I like to be is around 13 or so. Below that, you know, you worry a little bit. I've never seen the Zora bunny sprite. That was kind of cool. That was the Dark World version of Zora.
Yeah, because if I'm not mistaken, with blue mail, if they don't find red mail, I think Ganon will still do 4 hearts of damage, so...
Yeah, absolutely. I believe you are right on that. Emlyn checking the checkerboard cave here. Since we got the mirror now, this is a good check to do. And we just have some Boom Boom. So this is the point of the run as a runner that you really hate. You're 1 item away from go mode, and you know it. The problem you have right now is that item can almost be literally anywhere but Turtle Rock. And GT, obviously. I like this play from Emlyn. Let's go in the desert here. It might be here. It is a crystal. I kind of forgot about it, I'll be honest. Great fight from Kat on Mothula. That gives her 3 crystals. Again, folks, although Kat has unfortunately taken some deaths here, this matchup is closer than it seems. Let's say that.
Yeah, Desert Palace is definitely easily forgottenable because technically it was not in logic until they got the mirror here, because we did not find the book. So just keeping that in the back of your mind. And what else is interesting for them is that it is one of the 5/6 crystals. So this puts Fat Fairy into play right after he is done.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a very good point. I kind of forgot about that being a 5/6 too. There is a lot of areas to check right now, and you know, Bombos. Like I said, it could be pretty much anywhere but Turtle Rock and obviously GT at this point.
We could be super trolly and have Bombos in its vanilla location, so that means we would have to find the book.
Oh, that would be rough. Absolutely. I think a slight rage slash from Kat there, getting the Master Sword. Should be if Suman does right side, it'll do. They'll get their tempered. I'll be curious to see what happens then.
Well, getting a Master Sword at an hour and 19 minutes into the seed is not optimal for our runners, especially since they had to go so long without getting the first sword in the first place.
Yeah, I completely agree. And then oh hey, you're going to Hookshot Cave? Here's your 3rd sword. Okay, I get it. Emlyn making nice work of Lamos there with the silvers. But again, no Bombo, but we did get another crystal. That is number 5. So we're only 2 crystals away. And Swamp Palace is open. I know we all like the Go Mode Swamp, but that might be the next play here.
It's gonna make me think if Emlyn would decide to do Fat Fairy before doing Swamp or go right into Swamp. Both options are viable. But if you can go into Fat Fairy and be able to Go Mode Swamp, it's definitely optimal in that route.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a huge time save compared to having to do the entire Swamp Palace. Cat on the other side there got kind of trolled. She bonked into that bonk rocks and to get a fairy, and that fairy kind of said nope, and went the complete wrong way, so she couldn't grab him. That was unfortunate. So it does appear that Emlyn's decided, you know what, we're going to just do Swamp Palace. Again, both plays, this is not a bad play at all. And, you know, you got the one item remaining, and this does have 6 items, so definitely could be here. Chat's got an interesting question here. Should Cat do Tower Hera feeling behind? Let's keep in mind, both these runners, number one, are only the same item away from Go Mode at this point. I believe. I think she got Mirror, right? I want to say she did. So if she did make the Hera play, which is a big gamble at this point, and got Bombos, then this whole seed changes.
Absolutely, and she did indeed get Mira, so minus the dungeons that's completed by Emlyn, if Cat does make that play into Hera and Bombos is there, that could be the knowledge that she needs to catch up.
Yeah, absolutely, and it just kind of goes to show why you don't really necessarily want to say one person's in the lead or not so early in the race, well, like earlier in the race, because it did look like Cat was really far behind. But again, they're both one item away. Granted, Emlyn's got more dungeons, but that Bombos, if that's in a troll location and Cat finds it, Cat might be effectively in the lead. Oh, Cat's coming over to the Hera side. I don't know. Is she going to do Spike Cave?
I'm pretty sure 11 hearts is not going to cut it, so she's going to save and quit.
I do agree with that not going in there. Decided not to go in the Tower Hera again. That makes sense. It's only a pendant, and you're one item away, and she still has a bunch of crystal dungeons to do. Even if she feels behind, no, the crystal dungeon in her mind might have that Bombos.
Also to keep in mind, Cat's got to have in the back of her mind, she did not make the Zora play yet because she did not have the money. And that's also a difference between Emlyn having the blue mail and Cat still on green.
Yeah, absolutely. That is a big advantage for Emlyn right now. Cat going to give the Misery Mire one more shot. Oh, that was a nice fairy drop for Cat on Misery Mire's side. But so far, Swamp has not had an item that we want. All right, so let's assume right now that let's say we don't end up getting Bombos from Swamp. Where will Emlyn go next? That's a big question I have right now. Where should he go next?
I think he has to make the Fat Fairy play. He is by the bomb house. He has the, he can easily get there. That should be the play that goes next.
That is a very good point. That is probably the best bet at this point. And if it's not there, it's pretty much a pendant dungeon. And there's the red mail. So that's kind of an interesting thing there, because if Kat finds Bombos first, she might not get another mail. She might not get any of the mail upgrades compared to Emlyn, who got both of them.
Very true, and green mail Ganon is even scarier than blue mail Ganon, because I believe he does 6 hearts of damage.
I don't know the exact amount on green mail, but I know it's not fun. I like that strat there that Kat did with the bonk over the spike there. You don't see that too often. That was a nice strat. Emlyn taking care of Argus. But only getting a red rupee. So that just leaves Emlyn 1 crystal away from GT, which is Turtle Rock, which we know needs Bombos. Here we go, guys. This is where the race really starts to begin.
Chat brings a good point. I don't think either runner checked shovel location.
I believe that's correct, and I think that's where Emlyn's going right now. Ped Bombos is in play. It's not likely yet, but it is something to keep in mind, because we have access to both of the pendant dungeons. The only thing is they probably wish they had books so they could check it real quick, but that's probably on the runner's mind to some extent as well. At least Emlyn's mind right now. And GG the Cat, getting through Misery Mire, they're getting her 4th crystal. This is only a 6-4 crystal advantage. Cat is making some time up with this Bombos being in no man's land.
And Cat's gonna make the double, gonna go into Desert Palace here, finish that off. So that's a quick crystal grab by her as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So it'll be 5 to 6, and big spot only with the big 20 here. You can kind of feel the tension building on Emlyn's side, knowing that, oh man, I don't have Bombos. It's weighing on them at this point.
I'm gonna get our Fat Fairy check here.
Could the fairy have it? I know Emlyn's hoping so.
Well, here's the thing to think about now. If the fairy does not have Bombos, Ice Palace has 3 items, but is a longer dungeon to clear. Terra has 2 items, which is faster. Where do you go?
That's yeah, it's so hard because it takes a little longer to get to Hera too, and I don't know. I think I go with the more item dense location just to be on the safe side, but it's a hard play to make. I don't think there's a right or wrong answer there. And we don't have it in Pyramid Fairy. We do have another bottle, but...
Well, Ped's still alive here. So if it's not in these two locations, I'm getting a little hyped myself here. Getting excited thinking about it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if it's not in, I may be missing. I mean, we depending what we get, we still if we get like a cape or Burna, then Spike Cape's available. But it's very, it's becoming more and more likely. It's that pet could possibly be it. Right now, she's Emlyn's gonna be checking the graveyard cave, graveyard ledge, whatever.
Which I'm sure will get a bumper cave check while he's up in this location. So we'll know if it's now required to get the cape.
Oh, maybe not. Deciding not to do the bumper cave. I can't remember if they checked it earlier or not. I didn't think he did, but that could be. I mean, granted, you don't have the cape, so you can't actually get it, but still.
Getting those safeties leads me to think he's heading to Ice Palace.
I believe that is right. Here we are. We're going. Vanilla Ice would be proud. Ice, ice, baby. Here we go.
A good thing to note, though, did Kat check what T-Rock was? I wasn't sure. I don't remember if she knows that T-Rock is Bombos.
I'm pretty sure she went by there.
I'd hope so. And chat confirming Kat did check, so thank you, chat. So for Kat's end, she's gonna have to hope that it's not a pedestal seed, because Emlyn did finish pod, and Kat would have to go back into pod and finish it. So that would be the worst out for her.
Alright, I had to step out for a minute. Did I miss anything?
Nothing of consequence yet. I was just making the fact that if it is indeed a pedestal seed, that would be the worst off for Kat, because she didn't finish pod where Emlyn did. So that would be one pendant dungeon ahead of her.
Oh, that is a very, very good point. Emlyn having a little bit of trouble in that room, deciding not to bomb jump, which they have Canis Maria, and it's not as big of a deal, but I prefer the Ice Palace bomb jump swag, personally.
When you're full clearing the dungeon and you have an early small key like Emlyn has, it technically is not faster to do the Ice Palace bomb jump, so you wouldn't have to worry about doing it yourself.
Ah, that's fair. I actually didn't know. I knew it was a little bit faster somehow, but I wasn't sure the exact specifics of that. The Ice Palace bomb jump, especially if you're go-moding it or just kind of going straight to the boss, it actually makes it where you don't need the big key to get to the boss. Otherwise, you need the big key. Alright, so far not so good here in Ice Palace. It's kind of some junk so far.
I haven't been counting items, so I'm not sure how many they found so far, but there's one of them at the very least.
I know they got a piece of heart just a little bit ago too, along with that bomb upgrade, so I know there's 2 for sure. I thought there was another piece of heart, but I may have been completely wrong on that.
Because I believe there's only 3 items in Ice Palace, so if that's 2, or if they got 3, that means they're just looking for the... No, they have the big key, so there must be one more item.
Yep, there it is. Now this is going to be an interesting play. This will kind of tell us our mindset here from Emlyn. If they keep going and finish the boss, they have pedestal on their mind.
Well, getting that 3rd item, if he was counting and not opting to mirror out of here, I would think he is heading that direction.
Yeah, and this is, in all honesty, it's a good play, but as a runner, you kind of don't want to do it because you don't want to waste that extra, conceivably waste that extra time. But it is probably a smart play just to get these pendants out of the way, just in case we do have a pedestal seed. I gotta say though, it has been fun commentating this race, especially with you, Azrael. It's been fun. This has been a great seed. I have actually really enjoyed this seed.
I'm right there with you, Zunker. Oh my, I've enjoyed myself here. It's been exciting pretty much the entire time. Seeing Kat come back pretty much. And Emlyn gonna give eight shots with the fire right here to get that shell off. And with Tempered Sword should make, didn't get him in the corner. Gotta watch out though. Did get those safeties with the blue goo, so.
Yep, has that and has red mail, so cold stare hugs are not the worst thing ever, but they still sting.
Nice kill on Emlyn's side as Kat makes her way over to Argus.
That is one thing to keep in mind too. Is I believe the one thing that could slow Kat down is I believe she has a lot more of the overworld you have to check than Emlyn does.
That's very true. I gotta hope for her that it doesn't have to make those locations and make a gamble and find Bombos.
Emlyn headed up to Hera here. Whew. The last pendant. No, we could conceivably, I'm not just saying this to be trolly, we could conceivably have Book on pedestal and then have to go to one of the tablets.
Absolutely, and that would put Vanilla Bombos in play also. I think that would be more trolly than having a pedestal seat.
Yeah, absolutely. But there is 2 items here in Hera. We have to keep that in mind. It could definitely be here. And obviously, Emlyn's hoping it is.
And there it is, hour 40 minutes in. We are in go mode. Emlyn's gonna make quick work and head over to Turtle Rock. Oh, that's exciting.
That was probably the best case scenario at this point, being in that second chest in, or I guess it's technically the first chest in Tower of Hera. So the pet dream's dead, folks. I apologize. We tried, but we are officially in go mode. At about 140 it was about. So at this point, Emlyn's got a fairly sizable lead going forward, but Kat's playing a lot better now, and anything can happen. To go straight to Hera, you never know. I'll tell you though, earlier when Kat was debating on Spike Cave, if she would just went into Hera, this is a completely different ballgame.
Absolutely. She had it in her grasp and decided to go to flute out of there.
But it's understandable too, you know, you definitely get the play, and it's really the right play at the time, but get that big key early on. You need 3 keys plus the big key to finish out Turok, plus the 2 Pokio keys. Pokies. Oh, and there is Butter Sword. And now we got all the swords. Emlyn has the red mail. He's loaded up for sure.
Finding the butter sword is definitely a nice to find, but technically doesn't add that much more less time to Ganon. So, but getting it, you might as well. It's there. It's available to you. So go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. It helps a bit more on the probably in the gauntlet more than anything, but it's definitely not something that's required. The Chain Champ Room of Death, that area is always a blast. On Kat's side, she's making the logical, but as we know, the incorrect play here with the Pyramid Fairy.
Makes sense, and while she's here, I probably would throw a couple bottles in there and see if Blue Goo comes my way.
Absolutely. I believe that bottle was her first bottle of the match. Maybe second. I saw a fairy in a bottle, so I'm gonna get second. Oh no. Kat, you have to get the Hera.
Finding that shovel definitely is probably poking at the back of her mind now.
Yeah, absolutely. And remember, she also hasn't done Zora yet. But this seed once again showing that pendant. Don't skip your pendant dungeons, kids. Pendant dungeons are just as important as crystals right now. Alright, maybe not as important, but they definitely tend to have a lot of stuff lately.
Yeah, Pod had 3 items. Then Hera had 1 item. Unfortunately, Ice Palace didn't really have the items they needed, but still, that's 2 of the 3.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, 4 total big time items, including our first sword.
Kat finally making her way up to Zora is going to get that blue mail, and I'm probably thinking she's going to be very ecstatic to get it.
Yeah, absolutely. Probably wish it's just bomb boost, but actually, I think it'll be her red mail. She got the blue mail in Swamp.
Oh, that's true. It's very true. So, then, a nice, fine, not ecstatic, nice.
All right, Emlyn making his way up to good old Trinex. And Butter Sword, Red Mail Trinex is not a Trinex you have to worry about. Solid menuing there. It's easy to kind of forget the menu and to get your fire rod because if anything's exploding on screen, you can't get into your menu. It's something very important and newer runners tend to forget.
Absolutely. Timing that out is definitely something that takes a little practice, and Emlyn getting the 3 hits in and officially takes down Trinex. Very nice.
Beautifully done.
But with that, that's the last crystal, and Emlyn's making her way off to GT. Do you know what that means, Zunker?
That means we're getting close to the end of the game, right? There's not no extra game we're doing, correct?
Not an extra game, but we like to have fun on this channel. There's 22 locations that the big key can be located in Ganon's Tower. Put your numbers in, try to guess what number it is very quickly, because the minute Emlyn walks in, the guessing is done. If you're a subscriber to one of the Speed Gaming channels or have donated 250 bits, you can get put on a leaderboard if you get it. What location do you like to think the big key is in?
14. Which I think is Bob's chest in normal routing.
That's usually my go for the runners, but this seed's been a little trolly to them, so I'm going to go a little bit less, and I'm going to say 8. And if it's standard routing, 8 would be the Fire Snake room.
Yep. That would be correct, and that's the route that Emlyn's going to take here. Some people they didn't get a key on right side, but some people do go right side first if they get that key on right side. Hey, 300 more rupees.
It's a fairly quick play. There are 4 chests over there, so I like the play that some of these runners do. I've come to adopt it myself because you can get those 4 chests fairly quickly, so not a bad idea.
Yeah, absolutely. It makes sense, especially because a lot of players do go with the normal route or go left side first, and if it is on right side, that's a big time save.
All right, so that was 4 through 7, not there. We're going to make 8, which is now the room that I was thinking of.
Unfortunately, we just got some 10 arrows there. So at this point, unfortunately on Kat's side, making the overworld checks and just getting further and further behind. You know, obviously she has no idea how close she is, or was, or needs to go to Hera. I'll tell you though, Emlyn's got I'm sure feels a bit, he probably feels a bit of pressure at this moment. Again, they don't know where the other runner is. And you know, when you're in GT and you're kind of keeping an eye on your SRTV room, you know, you're worried at any moment you can see that dot done or that finish, and then you lose.
Absolutely. It's definitely nerve-wracking when you're here, but now that's through 13. So 14, we'll see if Bob Chess is the key here.
Emlyn there going for some bonk strats. Doesn't save a whole lot of time, but it is pretty cool. You gotta be pretty close to that warp, and then bonk into that, and it'll actually send you around. Didn't get the first try, so just said screw it and went the normal way. Again, not very long, so not a big deal.
Well, there's Ether in Bombos. I mean, in Bob's chest, so not number 14.
Yep, so now we got Ice Armos, and we could be looking at right side. Emlyn making quick work of the Ice Armos there. That could be tricky because of the ice, but with silvers, it's not too bad. Number 16, right? Oh, 17?
I meant to type 16 and that came out 17. That was my
Alright, let me retype. No problem. There we go. No problem, it happens. And that's why we don't save right away. It would appear that Kat is going to make the Tower of Hera play, and she'll be pretty happy about that, I would think. I mean, she obviously feels behind, and we all know that she is pretty far behind at this point, but... Oh, maybe not. Oh yeah, never mind, you have to do that. I'm done.
Yeah, absolutely. Kat will get her bombos and head over to Turtle Rock, which is nice. Emlyn, if he keeps it up, probably could get a sub 2 hour on the seed, as bad as it has been.
Yeah, absolutely. Sub 2 in this seed is not a bad seed at all, especially when you had to do mandatory double dip of Eastern, pod having all the items, and then obviously Bombos being here. And some Rage Slashes. So that puts Kat officially in go mode. Thankfully for her, she avoided Ice Palace. But you know she has that play in the back of her mind when she was thinking about Spike Cave. She was right there, and who knows, you know, anything could have happened at that point.
Yeah, I'd like to ask her if she comes in for commentary to see what was going through her mind there.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Emlyn gave a slash to that previous room for falling off a couple times. That's fair. Emlyn playing a little fast and loose on that torch room there, but got made it through okay.
And didn't despawn the dungeon, which is always nice.
I'm actually glad you mentioned that. How does that work? I know it's a possibility, but I don't know how that works.
So if you go up the stairs on the same frame or within a couple frames of the fires going out in the previous room, the dungeon itself doesn't realize what's going on and just empties out the entire dungeon, and you have to leave and go back.
That is good to know from here on out, because that is something that I've heard about it, but I honestly had no idea what it was. What's nice there with the Moldorm fights, you saw Emlyn using the, getting the spin slash ready. You will never get knocked off unless you actually get physically hit. If it's just hitting your sword, you won't actually get knocked off. The Helmosaur Hell room. I hate this room that Emlyn just made look easy.
Yeah, that room can be a real pain, but going into Aga 2, we'll see how many blue balls Aga gives in this seed.
Ooh, nearly a triple, but got the double.
2 doubles, 1 more to go.
Can we get the triple double? Oh, got blue ball. That was a good setup too. But we are up to 5.
Very nice Agate 2 fight for Emlyn, about to make her way over to Ganon. His way over to Ganon.
Yep, absolutely. And Kat on the other side had a really nice little maneuver with the Cansamaria. That was a fun little strat she pulled to get out of that change nap room. Relatively unscathed. She took a couple hits, I think, early, but...
That being said, also, Kat unfortunately didn't finish pod and went to Sahashala, so she does not have the powder, can't get the safeties that Emlyn has gotten in these Ganon's Tower and in this dungeon as well.
No, that is right. That is something to keep in mind for when she goes through GT. As you saw with that hit there, even with Red Mail, Ganon Hugs still do 3 hearts of damage.
I like to go into Ganon with 1 heart down, just because sword beams in the Ganon fight can definitely be a hindrance rather than a helper. So if I have a choice, I would take a hit before going in.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, because those sword beams, they sometimes just get in the way. And now we're doing the time warp. And there we go. Going to phase 4. Emlyn getting the torch clit. Solid double. And the pig is down again. GG to Emlyn. A very, very good run.
Very good. Get your GGs in chat. As Emlyn walks through, she gets an official SRTV time of 1 hour, 59 minutes, and 56 seconds. Gets the under 2 hour mark. Give her your GGs.
Hey, Emlyn. GG.
GG, thank you.
You're welcome. What do you think of that seed?
Overall, it was quite a bit of fun, though. The stupid pendant hiding up in, or not pendant, medallion hiding up in Hera really threw me for a loop.
Yeah, that was definitely a trolley item, but GG, you found it. Perfect location to run over to T-Rock and come back to Ganon's Tower, but good run by you.
Thank you. Yeah, overall, it felt really good. I mean, the only routing decision that felt bad was Ice Palace after there was nothing in there. But other than that,
Absolutely. We were curious to see if you're going to do Ice Palace or a T-Rock. Ice Palace obviously had the more items. I mean, than Hera. Had more items than Hera, so it was a more logical option. But it's definitely was probably waiting in the back of your mind which location to go to.
oh yeah, and that was the exact call I made. It was 3 items versus 2. I mean, Hera is certainly faster to clear, but I don't know. I always kind of feel like when the seed wants you to find one item, it's always in the stupid last location you look. So we went to Ice Palace first.
I don't mind me. I probably would have done the same thing. It's it's kind of a toss up in a lot of ways. So, go ahead.
I was just gonna ask how he felt about the seed. Well, anything you want to say? So, but go ahead. What was your idea?
I was just gonna say, you're 2-2 right now. You play pretty good in this race. How do you feel going forward?
I feel pretty good. This race felt a lot better than any of the 4 I'd done previously. The last 2 races were really frustrating. Both of them had silvers sitting in Lumberjack Cave. So you start the race and you just know, well, great, we're doing silver lit. And neither of those races went particularly well. So it's nice to actually put in a pretty solid race.
Yeah, I remember our first race was definitely trolly for me when I took the death on early mountain. But
yeah, that first race was fun, with both of us taking multiple deaths in the first 30 minutes, really messing up our routing.
absolutely. Cat's about to finish T-Rock. Oh no, got to go back and get a key. Forgot a key.
Yep, yeah, I have the stream up. Yeah, this is why I checked big chest before going forward. In standard, you always have to check it. I don't think there's ever a logic case in which you can't.
Oh, I didn't even see that. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, it's rare, but it trolls you hard when that little small key's sitting in there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Emlyn, I don't know if you want to stay around and still chat with us. Obviously, if you have something to do, you can leave, but we can continue wait for Cat to finish. But before we go, I'd just like to say amazing job. It was fun watching you run. Not against you, watching, run for you, but...
Yeah. If you have more questions, I'm going to stick around, and if you don't, I'll just wait until he finishes up. Wish him GG.
No problem. Yeah, right now she's going back for that big chest as we mentioned, and yeah, that's rough. I mean, Cat, you gotta give a lot of credit to Cat here. The beginning of this race was brutal. Took a lot of deaths, got really behind, but really, what's the word we're looking for? Really regained composure and played really well after that. Actually, was making up some time for a while there as you were looking for bombos, but unfortunately, she never went to Hera.
Okay. Yeah, the way this seed worked out, did he also clear all of Death Mountain in one go, come up with Titan's Mitts?
Titans was in Hype Cave, wasn't it? Oh, once they got Titan. Yeah, I think she did complete Death Mountain, and then she was. It looked like she was debating between Spike Cave and possibly Hera at one point, super early, and then decided to save and quit out of there.
Gotcha. Yeah, because the way I routed Death Mountain, since I had Mitts, didn't have Mirror yet, skipping Tower of Hera is a pretty logical option there, and you'll just clear everything else, which is quite a few chests. It's what, 11, I think?
Yeah, something like that. And you did get Mirror in Spiral Cave, which was nice.
Yes. Yeah, that was... Yeah, there was a couple items that where I found them, I still felt ahead, but I was a little worried. Mirror being kind of late. Same with Flute was a little late in the run, not super late. Bombo's taking a while. I figured I'd lost some time picking that up, but...
And obviously also getting sword late as well. You guys were on fighter sword for pretty much half the race, so
Yeah, that actually made me feel pretty good about the seed. I've done enough of these practices and played some Key Sanity too, where you get stuck with odd stuff like hammer through the first hour that I don't feel too bad without a sword, especially when the seed's going to give you health, or at least enough health. Though I will say doing Thieves Town with Kane was a little interesting. I haven't had to do that too often.
No, and that was a nice fight. Actually, you both ended up basically. Unfortunately, Cat took a bunch of deaths early on and came back, but you both ended up doing it with Kane pretty nicely.
It's, I mean, getting to do Kane on Thieves Town is actually kind of fun. I mean, it's so rare that the seed sets that up, and it's actually a really fun fight that way.
absolutely.
And for the record, that is in logic too. So the seed may require you to do that, which it kind of effectively did here.
Oh yes, I remember watching whoever's Hell seed it was, I think from week 2, where they got to do Blue Cane and bombs on Desert Palace, and then had to do Blue Cane blind.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like a good time.
No, it was a pretty hilarious seed to watch though. Oh wow. Okay, so I just saw my collection. I'm actually surprised it was 174. I was thinking it was going to be in the 160s. I did not expect to get under 2 hours with that high of a collection rate.
No, that was you played well. It's just that Bombos, obviously being a bit trolly with it being in Tyler Hair kind of gave you a lot more. You pretty much cleared most of the overworld, it seemed like.
Yeah, looking at my tracker, the only place that I had logical access to left was Mimic.
Yeah, there's no reason to do that when you're in Turtle Rock already in Go mode.
Correct. Yeah, it was really nice not finding any of the nonsense like book. Finding that late when you're looking for a single item is such a pain.
Yeah, I was about to say that it could have been vanilla Bombos and be the trolliest item besides being a pendant, buying me a pet seed, but I was like, I would hate to find that for the runners.
Yeah, that would have been brutal. Speaking of the pedestal, was that going through your mind at all? I mean, obviously you've full cleared Ice Palace and got the pendant. Were you thinking it was going to possibly be a pedestal seed?
Yes, though I'm a little conflicted on my clearing of Ice Palace. I got off on my count. I still thought Cold Stare had an item. So I'm not actually sure I would have finished it if I'd known it was the key.
Ah, I gotcha. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And in Meyer, did you lose count as well? I can't remember if that was
Yeah, I did too. Yeah, I checked the small chest and the big chest because once again I got off on my small key count.
Okay, I knew Kat did as well. Kat, unfortunately, Misery Meyer was, unfortunately for her, was pretty rough. But she actually grabbed both items, but kept going, didn't realize it, and then died a bunch of times.
Ow, that sucks.
Actually left and came back, and at that point you already had silvers and bows, so Vitreous would have been nothing.
Yeah, Vitreous was. It's so nice to come in there with silvers, though we had tempered at that point, so even if we didn't have silvers, with 12 hearts and blue mail at the minimum, that's a pretty easy fight.
Yeah, she didn't get blue mail till she went to Swamp, so she actually never went to. She went to Zora, didn't have the money, so she never had that blue mail until very late. Yeah,
that'll make that a lot harder. Okay, that explains a lot about this time difference too.
Yeah,
that mail for a lot of this late seed stuff is just ugh.
Yeah, it was it was brutal.
Yeah, unfortunately, especially being in like Meyer and everything like that, with the amount of damage that everything does, she was doing green mail. She was there for a good 10 minutes trying to finish it off before she decided to come back. So it was crazy watching her go. There was times you thought it was going to happen, and then just got one hit with 4 hearts of damage and was done.
Oh yeah, no, Vitreous is an ugly, ugly fight in green mail, and with anything less than tempered.
I can't quite remember. I think she only had Master at that point too, so it was not going to be a fun dungeon nonetheless. Actually, I don't even think she made it to Vitreous until she just kept dying in the dungeon itself.
Yeah, I'm not remembering where I found tempered. the completion said I only did 3 bosses with it, so it was pretty late.
Mastered and Tempered was on Dark Death Mountain. I believe you got Mastered in Spike Cave, and I can't remember where Tempered was.
It might have been Swamp, because I did, yeah, but that would have been 3 bosses. Swamp, Ice Palace, and then Turtle Rock. So I think that's right.
Yeah. It's hard sometimes to remember exactly where things were. You get all these seeds, mixed in your head, and you're like, was it here? No, I think it was here. Either way.
It's even worse in these tournament races. Like, after doing practice races, a lot of the times I can actually remember, oh, Cat, just go down. Good. You'll be so happy you went down.
Oh.
That's okay.
Yeah, accidentally picking up that other skull there kind of screwed up the bonk. She actually had the bomb jump, but got hecked by the beetle.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I might be a little ahead of you guys then.
Yeah, just a slight bit. That's alright though, no biggie.
Yeah, Kat also unfortunately didn't finish pod, so she didn't turn in the green pendant and doesn't have the powder for safeties either.
That was one of the other things. The safeties in this seat were actually pretty well hidden. Like, most of if you didn't finish that, obviously you don't get powder. We were on 1 bottle for a pretty long time.
Yeah, and she was actually on 0 bottles for a long time, longer than you were. You got yours first one fairly early, and I can't remember where you got it, but she didn't check the same location, and she had no bottles, along with Green Mail and Master.
Oh yeah, no, that's real rough. Actually, by the looks of it, she'll finish sub 220, which is really good for doing almost an hour or more on Green Mail and no safeties.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there was definitely some tilt going on, if you will, and it was pretty, it was, definitely could see it was affecting her and all the deaths and stuff, but she came back with a vengeance and played really well and made up a lot of time, really, and just, unfortunately just had too much to make up. You both play well for that matter. And speaking of which, I want to make sure to give one more shout out to both these runners, Emlyn and Kat. Make sure you guys give them the follow that they deserve. They put on a heck of a show today. Had the kind of roughish seas, at least with the bombos, and doing these restreams is not always the easiest. So GG to both runners and GG to Emlyn with the win.
Thank you again. Speaking of the rough seat, that reminded me, I was so happy to finally find a lamp. I've had way too many practice seats where it's just been hiding in dumb locations, and with this seat being Misery Mire required, I can't do that in the dark. I have no idea how to do the basement. And with having full Turtle Rock access, I think on 4 hearts, that also scared me.
Yeah, I can understand that.
It's like, Seed, please don't send me to Turtle Rock, like, second or something.
Absolutely. Kat actually found the lamp a little bit before, actually quite a little bit of time before you did, so she had it on her for a little bit longer, but you were able to do Eastern in the dark. You got that done, so there's no worries there, but I also agree. I tried to do on my second race, do Misery Mire in the dark, and I was there for a good 5 minutes, reflowing hearts with potions. I could not get that.
Oh yeah, that room is real tough, because almost like all the other dark rooms in the game, you have some relatively good setup with either, like sword bonking off the wall or something, or at the very least, if you have fire rod, there's a torch. But Misery Mire, it just says, nope, screw you.
Sounds about right. Cat in the gauntlet now, having a wee bit of trouble here, but nothing too major. Red Mail, Butter Sword, not bad.
Yep, it was really nice finding Butter Sword in Turtle Rock. It's just like, okay, the end of the seed's going to be just a little bit easier.
Yeah, she did find the bug net. I forget where that was, but she was able to catch some fairies in a bottle here.
Oh yeah, I'm seeing she's only on 1 bottle. Jeez, I'm really curious where we diverged on that. Yeah, seeing that, and that makes me even more impressed. Like, Ganon's Tower and Turtle Rock are really, really rough places to be doing without safeties, or many safeties.
Yeah, absolutely, and yeah, you guys had quite the route divergence fairly early, and then and really both plays actually paid off pretty well. It's just like I said, the difference before was just the deaths that were involved.
Mm-hmm. Did I do Dark World prior to her, I'm guessing?
Yes, I think you... Yeah, she actually died in Escape one time, which kind of set her back as well.
Yeah,
quite a bit.
Bombs are not fun.
And then, so you went in, I think, even when she got it, Darth World, I think she waited a bit before she went in.
Mm-hmm.
She did like the fake flippering and stuff, and got the lamp and stuff, and...
Okay, yeah, right, that's where lamp was. Yeah, I was gonna do that, but then I walked face first into a crab.
Okay, I forgot about that.
And that was that.
It's alright. Yeah, Hype Cave did live up to the hype, and oh, Cat just took a face to a eye beam, so she's gonna use her fairy here.
Yeah, that scared me. I had forgotten that she just picked that up.
Dying on the gauntlet, it's not fun. Ooh, got a little unfortunate there.
It's nice to see you do a fake powder early on. You had all the items, it was perfectly routed in. One of my favorite things to do.
Yeah, that was really funny how that worked out with getting Hammer out of the inn. It's like, well, okay, I guess we're gonna do fake powder. That is a fun trick, though. I don't know what it is. I seem to never be able to get it on the first try. It always takes me 2 attempts.
Yeah, I don't know exactly how it works, so I would probably struggle with it myself. I just know you need no magic.
Yes, you need no magic, you need red cane, and you need mushroom. And so the way it works is that when you have no magic and are spamming the basically you use the red cane, go into your menu, select the mushroom, and then immediately as you unpause, use the mushroom, and for some reason it tricks the game into thinking you'd use powder on it. And Cat had a really good fight.
Spoilers!
Oh, right. Shit. I keep forgetting the race stream's like 10 seconds ahead of you guys.
No, I'm just giving you a little crap here. It's good stuff right there.
Yeah, she did that a lot cleaner than I did.
And yours wasn't too bad either. I think you got a little unfortunate with the blue ball, but...
Yeah, I missed at least one projectile I should have gotten and made it a cycle quicker. And she actually got it. She got the triple at the start, which set her up better than I did.
And that was a really nice fight by Cat here, and she's making her way up to the Ganon himself, make some more bacon. Again, played really well after the beginning debacle, but so to get this done, has butter, and while I got a second here, I already shout out the runners, but also shout out once again to my commentary partner Azrael Speed. It's been fun, man. You've been very knowledgeable. It's been fun, is what I'm trying to say, that I'm having struggle with.
Absolutely, Zunker. I had an amazing time commenting to you. It's been for lack of a better term, like you said, a lot of fun. And you made it co-commentating and going off each other very interesting and fun to do.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I also want to give a shout out to our tracker JLo7 for giving us some tracker. I know he had a little bit of issues on the back end, but doing a really, really nice job. And also just to the entire Speed Gaming crew, all the guys behind the scenes, guys and gals. Without them, this stuff would not be possible. The Big Chess game, them guys back there, they do a lot of work, and and don't receive a lot of recognition. So shout out to you guys.
I feel for Cat on that one. That's a rough death.
Oh, yeah. Unfortunately, no more fairies, and it looked like she hit Ganon, but Ganon said no, and just, here's a fire bat to the face.
Yeah, watching that was a little odd. It really did not seem like the fire bat should have come out, but it did, and...
Actually, both times she got hit by that fire bat, she got hit earlier, a little bit earlier than that, and it looked like you hit him, what the heck?
Mm-hmm. Still, she looks like she's pretty well set up to finish this, and with half magic, it's really nice to have that, even if you miss Torch Glitch.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, already back in phase 3 here. One thing I should mention, I didn't mention it while you were fighting Emlyn, but I want to make sure the chat knows. The first round, so the warps are the same for both runners no matter what, the way it's programmed. But once you die or fall, the warps get random, so it won't be the same the second time.
And it always seems that if you do fall or die, that Ganon's going to give it to you with the warps. It's just how it is in the second time around.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, he is a troll like that. Nicely done.
Finishing off here with these 3 more hits here. Getting a little unlucky with some of these slashes, it seems like. Good setup for a double there. I don't know if it took it, though. Yes, it did. And GG, the cat. I know it was a bit rough start, but a good fight nonetheless. And GG with let's see here.
It's official SRTV time of 2 hours, 23 minutes, and 17 seconds.
Yep. Both runners, GG. Nice. That was a fun race. Thank you guys very much. We'll see if Kat wants to get in for an interview real quick. Hello, Kat. Can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. GG. Well done, Kat.
Thank
Nice
you.
run.
Thank you. GG to my opponent.
GG to you, Cat.
That was, I don't know.
Yeah, what do you think of
so
C?
nervous.
Give us some comments on that seed. What do you think about it?
I was super nervous going into it, and I had a bit of a rush preparing for it, so I can't wait to see how many deaths I have. I actually don't really want to see, but I died so many times. I made the right play going into pod, which I was happy about. I was wondering if I left early, I didn't finish it, and I was hoping that wasn't going to bite me. I think I was going to do it after Hera. Other than that, I should have gone to Zora and got some mail.
Yeah, green mail for probably about an hour and a half was definitely rough for you. We were hoping you would make the way up to Zora again.
Yeah, and I really didn't have much intention, really, until after I had gone to Catfish. Like, I knew I was going to run it in with Catfish after I did Swamp, but I should have gone there way earlier.
Well, for the most part, after the beginning, with the nerves, you actually played really well, and good job on collecting your composure and playing really well after that.
Thank you. Yeah, I settled in a little bit, which was good because I was like, people are probably really sick of watching me dying. I actually making jokes, like I was sitting there and I was like, well, I may as well Death Warp. I've died like how many times?
Absolutely. We wanted to ask you. You saw after you checked Turtle Rock and saw that it was Bombos, and you made your way over to West Death Mountain, going to Spike Cave, realized you didn't have enough hearts. We saw you pause. Were you thinking about going into Hera while you were there?
No, I was thinking about whether I should try it anyway for Spike Cave. Just the wrong. I should have. I kind of, when I was over there, I think I walked there first, or I thought about it, but no, I never really. I hadn't considered it, not until I had to.
Very well.
That would have made a huge difference, obviously.
Yeah, both of us were having a fun time trying to find that Bombo step.
Yeah. Did you go up there when you were up there for T-Rock?
No, the way I ended up routing it, I had Titan's Mitts, so I cleared all of East Death Mountain in one go, and then I didn't end up going back over to Hera, which is how I actually found myself later in the game in Ice Palace instead.
Ooh. Ooh.
Yeah, if you were able to make that Hera play, this race would have been really, really close at the end. But I mean, obviously, it made sense why you would leave Hera, only 2 items, pendant. It made sense. I mean, the play makes sense.
Yeah, I wasn't ready to go to Ice. That was one it would have taken a bit of convincing to get to. I don't like Ice though, and I was dying so many times. I was like, I don't. Nobody needs to watch me die 4 times trying to do the Ice Palace bomb jump.
So, I mean, unfortunately, you did take a loss here. You are 1-3, so most likely out of the bracket part. But you still got 4 more weeks. Are you going to continue on? And if so, how do you feel going forward?
I'm absolutely going to continue. I never expected to be in bracket. These are my first races. Like when this tournament started, my first tournament race was the first one I'd done online. Everything else up till this point has been offline. So I'm really excited to be a little bit more active in the community, and this is just a great way to get some good races in. And I'm looking forward to finishing it, and I hope that I can execute better as I go along.
Absolutely, and I do have to say it's about 20-9. I believe the next race is on this channel, so we've got to start wrapping up so they can prepare. Anything more you guys want to say about the seed or the tournament in general?
I'm fine. It was fun. I would really appreciate being restreamed. Thank you guys for everything.
Yeah, once again, it's so much fun to be restreamed. Like, that's one of the best parts about this tournament, is to give the community the ability to get commentated. And I want to thank both of you for the commentating and also for our tracker and our restreamer.
Absolutely. You guys put on a hell of a seed. It was fun to commentate and amazing to watch. And hope you guys enjoy if you go and watch the VOD afterwards.
For sure. Thank you. GG.
I definitely will be. GG, Kat.
Zunker, anything you'd like to add before we get out of here?
No, it's just been fun. I just want to say thank you everybody in chat for coming out today. And like Azrael said, at 9 o'clock we got Limister RTA versus Maniacal right here on Speed Gaming 5. So stay tuned.
That's definitely going to be a nice race. If you enjoy what you're seeing, please again follow the runners Emlyn and Katatatta. They did an amazing job. That's how we feel appreciated when we get followers. If you like the way we commentated, please give us a follow. We also run in this race, so being followed is nice. And same thing with J-Lo. Wonderful time, and if you like what you're doing, also give Speed Gaming a follow. There's 1 through 6 on Speed Gaming, and ALTTP randomizers 1 through 4. If you like what you see, I really appreciate it. I enjoyed commentating this, and thank you very much for being here with us.
Bye, everybody.